Yeah, online people, can you able to hear me? Please type C in chat box. If I am audible, please type C. Make it faster. Yeah, guys. Okay. Good, good. If you know core Java basics, please type C. Do you know how to create class and object? Please type C. Make it fast, okay? Make it fast. Everyone, please respond. Please type C if you know. Everyone be alert and give me the response immediately. That's good. Good. Now you are eligible to attend this session. Let's begin. Okay. If you get any issue in online, if you get any issue, give me in chat. Okay. So that I'll rectify that. Okay. Right. Let's begin, guys. Okay. Okay. Check once now. Can you able to see my screen? Can you able to see my screen? Okay. Okay then. Nice, nice. Cool. Cool. Let's begin. Okay, guys, we'll start this session. See here. We'll start with the Hibernate framework. We'll start with the Hibernate framework. But in this framework, Hibernate framework, basically what we will discuss today, basically what we want to discuss today. Okay. Basically what we want to discuss today, we want to know about what is the data persistence. Okay. I'll explain what is a data persistence. Today we are going to look at about data persistence and what are the different options available to perform data persistence. Okay. To learn Hibernate framework, you no need to have any knowledge on Spring framework. Both are independent frameworks. Moreover, if you know Hibernate framework, then you can understand the Spring framework very easily. Okay. And to learn Hibernate framework, some basics on JDBC is required. Java database connectivity. That is a you should know about what is a driver, what is a database URL, what is username and password, and also you should know something which is related to the SQL queries, like how do we create the table, how do we insert the records, how do we update the records, how do we select the records. So these are the prerequisites to understand Hibernate framework. Okay, hope you guys have idea on all these things. Okay, yeah. Make it fast. Make it fast. Okay, done. Okay, done. Good. So now, yeah, let's begin with the session. Today we will understand about what is a data persistence. Okay, to everyone, let's begin the session. Okay. Later I'll talk about what is a framework really. Okay, later I'll talk about what is really a framework. But today I'm just going to explain about what is data persistence. First of all, what is the meaning of persistence we'll understand. We will understand about a word called what is persistence. Okay. Persistence meaning storing the data permanently. Storing the data permanently is called as persistence. Okay. Storing the data permanently is called as persistence. Right. So where do we persist the data? Let us understand first of all. If you take about data persistence, there are three components in data persistence. Data persistence has three components. I repeat once again. Data persistence has three components. Three components. So what are the three components? One is data. One is data. Second one is called medium. And the third one is called storage. Okay. One is data. Second one is called medium. Third one is called storage. Okay. Data, medium, and storage. These are the three components of the data persistence. Okay. Let's go ahead. We'll tell you. Data. Okay. First I'm talking about data. Data represents what to persist. Persist means store. Data represents what to persist. Data represents what to persist. Medium represents how to persist. Medium represents how to persist. Next, I'm talking about storage. So storage represents where to persist. Where to persist. Okay. Data persistence has three components. Hibernate framework is an ORM tool. I'll tell you about what is object relational mapping tool and all next. Okay. But currently we are looking forward to see about data persistence. Okay. In a data persistence, there are three components. First one is data. The second one is medium. Third one is the storage. Data represents what to persist. Medium represents how to persist. Storage represents where to persist. Okay. So today we are going to look at about these three things. Okay. Right. So to understand Hibernate framework, what is a prerequisite that you people need to know is an idea on JDBC technology. Okay, an idea of JDBC technology is mandatory. I'm not talking about you need to know about everything in JDBC. Basically, how to write a Java program to interact with a database using JDBC, that is required. Okay, that is required. JDBC is required. Little bit idea, at least one program, if you know, that is better. So that you will know about what is a driver class, what is the URL, what is the username, and what is the password. So these things are mandatory. Okay. Next, if you have little bit of SQL queries, that will help you. SQL queries will also help you. I mean, say that very complex queries are not required, but if you know simple queries to perform the CRUD operations, that is required. Just to perform simple operations like how to insert, how to update, how to delete, and how to select. And if you already know about what is a primary key constraint and what is foreign key constraint, that is also going to be a very good one. These are all will be required for us after 4-5 sessions. Okay, till 4 to 5 sessions, we are going to have more discussion on theoretical points. Okay, meanwhile, you can just refresh your skills. Okay, right. If you don't know, you can learn it also. Okay, one day is more than sufficient to learn basic idea on JDBC. If those who don't know about JDBC, you can sit today and you can get an idea and you can even write the first program in JDBC. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on. First one, data. Okay, we are discussing about data persistence. We are talking about what? First one, data. Okay, data represents either a raw data or it can be the data in a Java object. Data means in Java applications, we have two types of data. One is called raw data. Second one is called Java object. Raw data in the sense, the data which is stored in different variables. The data which is stored in different variables is called raw data. Second one, we have Java object, like employee object, like a customer object, like a order object. Okay, what we have now? Java object. So Java object contains data. Variables also stores data. The data which is stored in variables is called as raw data. Raw data, correct? Second one is what? The data which is stored in Java object. So data can be either a raw data or Java object. Okay. When it comes to storage, I'll talk about medium next, but I'll talk about storage. Yeah. Somebody raised hand, Shashi Kumar. Okay. Yeah, you wait. Okay. At the end of the sessions, I'll take up the, let's continue for some time. Then I will take up the questions. Okay. First one is data. Third one is what here? Storage. Okay. Third one is what here? Storage. What I mean to say, storage means if I want to store the data permanently, there are two options for me. What are the two options as a Java developer I should know? One is a file. One is a file. Second one is a database. Okay. If it is a database, then we can store the data. We can follow ACID properties. Okay. If it is a file, there is a redundancy, inconsistency. Some problems are there with the file. So that's the reason why we don't store the data in file. We will store the data in a database. So data, medium, and storage. These are the 3 points I'm going to explain you in the session for today. Okay, 3 components are there. Data means data can be what, either a raw data or Java object. Storage means what, either it can be a file or a database. And coming to medium, there are multiple mediums are there. For example, if I am using file, I am using what? File. For example, to read the data from file. Okay, in Java, we have input streams. What streams are there? Input streams are there. To write the data into the files, we have output streams are there. Means what, in Java we have IO streams concepts are there, or IO stream classes are there. For what? To read the data from the file or to write the data into the file. That is the one medium. If my data is a Java object, so I'll write all these points, of course. First, try to understand it, okay? If the data is what? Java object. In Java, we have a concept called serialization. What's the concept name? Serialization. Serialization concept can be used for converting the Java object into a stream of bytes. And we can use that to write into a file. Serialization is nothing but converting the Java object into a stream of bytes and writing those stream of bytes into the file. Deserialization is nothing but retrieving the Java object from the stream of bytes. Means what? I can store the Java object into a file. Which concept is required in Java? Serialization. I can read the Java object from the file. Which concept is required? Deserialization. Right. Okay. Let me write here, so that if I explain directly like this, you may miss one by one point. I will explain you here. First of all, I'm talking about what? Data. I'm talking about data. Data is of two types. One is a raw data. Second one is the Java object. Java object. Data is a two types of data, raw data or Java object. Java object. When you come to medium, what is a medium? One is Java IO streams. Java IO streams. Second medium, serialization or deserialization. Medium represents what? How to persist. Okay, how to persist. Otherwise, another medium, what we know? JDBC. JDBC stands for Java Database Connectivity. Right. These are the mediums. When it comes to storage, one is a file. Second one is a database. Right. Good. Everyone got my point, guys? Data, medium, storage. So how many things you should know to understand about data persistence? 3 things you should know. Data represents what to persist. Medium represents how to persist. Storage represents where to persist. Data can be 2 types of data. Medium, 3 types. And for storage, we have 2 types. Okay, right? Let's move on, guys. Let's have a diagrammatic part. Okay, now, right, let's move on. Look at this point, guys. Suppose I'm taking suppose I am taking first storage as a file. I want to take the storage as a file first. Okay. Look at this. Let me give a diagram over here. Okay, I'll give a diagram here. So my diagram is, here I want represent data. I want to represent data here. Here I want to represent medium. I want to represent medium. And lastly, I want to represent storage. I want to use storage as what? File. Storage is what? A file. So this is what, guys? Data. The first part is data. The second part is the medium. And the third part is the storage. Okay. Data means what data? It can be raw data. It can be raw data. What is another? Java object. Another can be the Java object. Yes. It can be like an employee object, or it can be like a customer object, something like that. Okay. Coming to storage. Where can I store the raw data or the Java object? First storage what? File. Okay. Storage is a file. For example, this is a file. We call generally this file as a flat file. It's a file only, but we call it as a flat file. Flat file meaning the file which is nowhere related with any particular technology. Okay, I will give an example here. Okay. For an example, if you create a .java file, which is related to which technology? Java technology, Java file. For example, .cpp, this is the C++. .c, it is related to the C language. But if I write a .txt, which technology? I am asking about which technology. I am asking about, guys, online guys. I am talking about which technology, for which technology it belongs to. For example, if I write a .txt, it belongs to, this file belongs to which technology? .java, related to Java technology, C++ language, C language. Okay, .py for Python. Correct? What about a .txt? It is nowhere related with any technology. That kind of the files are called as flat files. So what is flat file? Flat file is nothing but what? A file which is not related with any particular technology. Okay, that is called as a flat file. Okay. Now coming to the point here. Nice. Let us move ahead. Look at this. If the data is raw data and I want to store the data into the flat file, I want to store the data into the flat file, then I should go for Java IO streams. What these Java IO streams provide? Classes to read and write the data. So observe here. What I am trying to say here, if the data is raw data, here the data is raw data. Storage is what? File. Means what I want to do? I want to store the data into a file. I want to store the data into a file. So who is a medium? Java IO streams. Input and output streams can be used. So I'm keeping the arrow at the both sides. That is better. I'm keeping the arrow for the both sides. I'm keeping the arrow for the both sides. Okay. Correct? Right. Means what? By using IO streams, I can write the data into the file. Even I can also read the data from the file. This is called medium. Who is a medium here? Okay. Okay. What is a medium here? Java IO streams. Right. Good. Suppose if the data is in Java object, like a customer object or an employee object or a policy object, okay, or an order object, something like that. If it is something like that, then tell me now. Okay, then tell me which concept in Java is used for writing the data into this file? Serialization. In Java, we have a concept called as a serialization. Correct. Serialization. First, I'll explain about data persistence. Then I will explain you why Hibernate framework is introduced. What is the use of Hibernate and ORM tools? I will explain you. That is all going to come next, but first understand the basics. Okay. Java object. Okay. If I want to write the Java object into a file, which concept of Java I have to use? Serialization concept I have to use. What will happen in serialization? Java object is converted to what? A stream of bytes, and those stream of bytes are written to a file. Okay. To retrieve the Java object from the file, then we have to use another concept called as what? Deserialization. Sure. Deserialization. Deserialization. Good. The concept name is deserialization. So what is happening in deserialization? We can convert the stream of bytes into a Java object. Okay. As you know, why we are not using a file in all the real-time applications to store the data? Because there are multiple reasons that file is not secured. Okay. There is a problem of data inconsistency. There is a problem of data redundancy. Okay. Are you getting my point or not? And there is a complexity in reading and writing the data using files. Are you getting my point, right? Okay. So there are various reasons are there. Like, why don't we use file as a backend for storing the data? File as a backend for storing the data. Yes. There are some reasons are there. We don't use file as a backend, right? So what is the other alternate available then? Database. Okay, database, right? Let's move on. I will explain you. Okay, let me give you some points I want right over here. Okay, right? Observe here. First of all, what is a serialization? Serialization is a process of converting Java object into a stream of bytes. A stream of bytes. Okay. Now, these stream of bytes can be stored in a file or can be transferred over a network. So in Java, if you want to transfer an object from one JVM to other JVM, right? Then that object must be a serialized object. Only what type of objects are transferable over the network in Java? Serialized objects are only allowed to transfer over the network. From JVM to JVM, if I want to transfer from client JVM to server JVM, I want to send an object. Then that object must be what type of object only? Serialized object only. Then only we can able to send the object over the network. Okay, right? That is called what process here? Serialization. Serialization. What's the next one? Deserialization. These are all the core Java concepts, right? Deserialization. What is deserialization? It is the process of retrieving or converting a stream of bytes into a Java object. This process is called what? A deserialization. Okay, right, guys? Online people, do you have any query? If it is clear, please type C in chat box. If it is clear, please type C in chat box. Shashi Kumar asked question, what do you mean by transferring over a network? Nothing. When you are developing client server applications, we need to transfer an object over a network. We'll call the server method. We'll pass object as an argument. That is the meaning of transferring over a network. Okay. Very good. Very good, guys. Let us move on next. Okay, na? Right. I will move on, guys. I'll explain you. Next. Now, so why don't we use file? What is the drawback of file? I'm writing just only. What is the drawback of using file? What is the drawback of using a file? Why don't we use file in the real-time projects? Okay, why don't we use? There are certain reasons. Number one, data redundancy. Redundancy means duplication of data. Data redundancy. Redundancy meaning duplication of data, which is called duplication of data. Okay, redundancy means duplication of data. Second, data inconsistency. Data inconsistency. For example, if the data is stored in two files, and if the data is modified in one file, but the data is not modified in another file. Okay. For example, I have two files. For example, I have two files called student file, courses file. Two files are there. One file is a student file. Another file is what? Courses file. What I am doing here? I am modifying the data in a student file, but I forgot to modify the data in courses file, the student courses file, right? Then what will happen? The data becomes inconsistency. This is called data inconsistency problem with the files. If the data is modified at one place, but not modified in another place, then we will get what kind of problem? Data inconsistency. Yes, data inconsistency is a problem. Data inconsistency is a problem. Third one. Okay. Data security. Data security. If a file is opened, all the data becomes visible to everyone. We cannot restrict some data to be visible, half of the file visible to one user, half of the file visible to another user. So we cannot able to restrict like that. That is called what? Data security. What is another problem with the file? Storage. Okay. In a file, it's not possible to store some crores of records. Okay. Some hundreds or thousands is okay. But we can't able to store crores of records. Okay. Fifth point, very important one. File does not support transactions. No transaction support. That is very important for real time. That is very important for real time. No transaction support is there for files. No transaction support is there for files. What is a transaction? If anybody is having doubt, you just wait. I'll tell you in Hibernate. Okay. No transaction support. Every day you are doing many transactions, right? Next, sixth one I would like to write. Okay, if you want to search for the data, okay, for example, the file is containing 10 records, you can search the data fastly. But if the file having 1000 records, will take more time to search the data, because in file we can't impose constraints. Constraints means what? We cannot implement not null, unique, primary key, foreign key. Can you implement all these constraints? No, there are no constraints applied on files, right? So obviously what searching for the data becomes very late. Nothing but will take more time, right? So obviously what I'm trying to write here, no constraints support. No constraints. You don't have any primary key, foreign key, unique, not null, check, default. You don't have any such kind of database constraints. Those constraints are not applicable for what? Files. So there is no constraint support, no transaction support. Very important for real time. Data security is not there. Data is inconsistent. Duplication of data is accepted. Files cannot store large amounts of data. These are all blah, blah, blah. These are all the different problems with the file. And that is the reason why we are moving to the database. So we are moving to the database, where database will provide a solution for all these problems. Database will provide solution for all these problems, right? Very good. Online people, if you have understood this, please type C. Transaction support will be explained next when Gopal Rao. Make it fast. Okay, done. Good, very good. Let's move on together, guys. Let's move on together. There are some drawbacks with the files. Next, what we do? We take, who is the next one? Who is the next option available for us? Who is the next option available for us? Next option available is a database. Two storages, na? One is a file. Other one is what? Database. Okay. File is not, cannot be used in the real time. So what's the other option available? Database. Of course, everybody is using what? Every application real time uses backend as a database. Maybe it is an RDBMS or it may be a NoSQL. So these are the types of database systems. Now, what are the two types of database systems used in the real time? RDBMS system or NoSQL system, right? NoSQL system, but they both are databases only, na? Right. Let's understand. Let's move on. Observe here. For example, now again, for example, the diagram for you. Diagram for you. Suppose This is data. Now this is the medium. And last one is the storage. Data, medium, and storage. Okay, data, medium, and storage. Observe here. Now I am taking storage as what now? Database, not a file. What I'm going to use now? Database is my storage. Database is my storage. I'm going to use storage as a database. Okay. I want to use database as a storage. Done. This is the database. Right. Now coming to data. Data can be raw data. Otherwise, data can be Java object. Now coming to the point. In Java, so far we know only one technology. What is the one technology we use to work with the database is JDBC. It doesn't matter whether you have raw data or Java object. Whether you have data in Java object or whether you have the data like a raw data. Raw data is nothing but what? First of all, the data which is in variables. Java object means what? The data is contained within an object. If you have an employee object or if you have a customer object, that object contains data. Na? What do you want to do now? You want to store that data in a database table. In a database table. Okay, right? Which technology we can use to store this data of an employee object or a data of a customer object into the database table? JDBC. What's the technology? JDBC. If I have data in some variables, now I want to insert the data of these variables into table. Again, which technology I have to use to insert, to execute this insert query on the database? JDBC. What's the only one technology that we know? JDBC is a technology. Means what is the medium here? JDBC. What? Medium is what? JDBC. Observe here. JDBC, Java Database Connectivity. Yes, JDBC. JDBC, I'm writing. JDBC. Observe here. The same technology we can use in Java for writing the raw data or storing the raw data in the database, or even Java object also, or even the Java object also. Okay, right? So which technology we can use in Java to write the data like a raw data or Java object into a database? JDBC, Java Database Connectivity. Yes. Yes. Observe here. I'm just keeping the arrow like a two sides arrow. I'm keeping the arrow like a two sides arrow. Okay. Two sides arrow, I'm keeping it. Now, let us understand. Okay, let us understand what is the problem of using JDBC for the Java object. Okay, what is the problem of using JDBC for the Java object? That's what next we are going to understand. Okay, right. But currently we know only one technology. Before, I'm talking about before the concept of ORM tools. ORM stands for Object Relational Mapping. Hibernate is our class, na? So Hibernate is one of the ORM tools. So I'll explain you what is the use of ORM tools and why they are invented. This is all what we are going to discuss actually. Okay, right? That will go on next. That we are going to discuss next. Currently, guys, which technology only we know? JDBC. Okay. Next, you are going to learn Hibernate. Means you are going to enter into ORM tools. But before you learn Hibernate, before this class, right? We know only one technology, right? What's the technology? JDBC technology. For what we use this technology? To communicate with a database and to perform the database operations. What operations we can perform on the data? Inserting the data, updating the data, deleting the data, retrieving the data. These are called CRUD operations. What operations we call? CRUD operations. Otherwise, we can call it as CRUD operations. Otherwise, we can call it as what? CRUD operations. CRUD operations are CRUD operations. You are getting my point? Yes? Good, nice. Come to the point. Okay. Listen here. What I'm writing here, JDBC technology can be used to perform CRUD operations on the data of a database. Okay, can be used to perform CRUD operations on the data of a database. I just want to write C means create. Guys, C means create. Create meaning inserting. Don't think that create means creating the table. Okay. Here C for create, C means inserting. Remember this point, it is not for creating the table. Creating the data, not creating the table. Understand the point? CRUD meaning C for creating the data, not for creating the table. Nothing but inserting in our terms. In our terms, it is inserting. R for what? Read. Read is nothing but selecting. Okay. U for what? Update. Update is nothing but modifying or updating. And obviously D for delete, deleting, removing the data. These are called CRUD operations. JDBC technology can be used to perform CRUD operations on the data of a database. This is CRUD meaning create, read, update, then what? Delete, right? Good. Now, see the requirement. I'll give you a requirement. Observe here. See, my requirement is I have, observe here, I have an employee object. I have an employee object. Okay, what I have? Employee object I have. I have an employee object. I want to store the employee object. I want to store the employee object into a database table or into a database. Okay, using which technology? Using JDBC API or JDBC technology, whatever it is. Using JDBC API. That is my requirement. Guys, can you tell me in online people, can you tell me what you have to do? Can you tell me the process for this requirement? Anybody can type your process in the chat box. I'll wait for 1 minute. Yeah, guys. Yeah, you are writing something. Yes. Then we perform CRUD operations, load the driver, connection. Okay. They are the steps of writing the ADBC program, right? I'm just asking about only my requirement. I'm not asking about the steps to write the program. I'm asking about only the requirement. If this is my requirement, what should I do? That's a question. Okay, what should I do? Suppose I have an employee object. I want to store the employee object into a database using JDBC API, then what I have to do? Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not asking guys, online guys, I'm asking you only what is the process. Okay, I don't want any, you are loading the driver or connection, closing the connection. Okay, so these things are not required. That is about steps of writing the ADBC program. I'm only asking about the process. What is the process to do it? Okay, assume that the table is already there in database. Okay, and I don't want any JDBC steps, but I would like to do what? I want to store the data of this employee object into a database using JDBC API. Then I'm asking you guys, what is the process to do it? See here, I'm writing. What is the process here? You have an employee object already. My question is, can I directly use JDBC API to send this employee object into a database? Can you tell me any method available in JDBC API to store the employee object directly into the database? Do you have any method? Like for example, save of employee. Do you have any such method? Save of employee or save customer, so that employee will be saved in database or customer will be saved in database. Do you have any such methods? What I'm asking you, save of employee. Do you have any such method in JDBC? No, at least any method like this, persist employee. Do you have any such kind of methods in JDBC? No. What methods you know in JDBC to perform the CRUD operations on the database? Which methods you know in JDBC? You know some methods, right? Execute update method, you know. Execute update method, you know. Otherwise, you know what? Execute query method, you know. Or worst case, you know, execute method also, maybe. But two methods are enough. What are the two methods? Execute update method, you know. Execute query method, you know. Okay, can I pass execute update of employee or execute query of employee? Can I? Can I pass an object like this? No. No, these are errors. This is error. We can't do it. This is error. We can't do it now. Right? We cannot pass like this. What we can pass to execute update method or execute query method? What we can pass? Query we can pass. Insert query or update query or a delete query or a select query. What you can pass? Only queries you can pass. What you can pass? Only the queries. You can only pass the queries, right? Okay. Can I directly pass object to the query? Can I pass directly object to the query? For example, I have a query. Listen here. Insert into table name employee or EMP table. EMP underscore table is my table name. Next, what I'm writing? Values of employee. Is this a valid query? No. What is employee here? What is employee here? Object. But what you can pass within parenthesis? Values. You cannot pass the object. What you can pass? Values you can pass, but we cannot pass the object. We cannot pass the object.
Okay, right? Can you write a query like this? No. Can you call the methods like this? No. So this is also error. This query is error. This query is also error. Got my point, everyone? Online people are getting my point? Okay. Just see. C is enough now. C means clear. One character only. Okay. Just one character is enough now. Don't waste your energy. Make it fast now. Make it fast, guys. Excellent. Excellent. Very good. Very good. Very good. Observe here, guys. Okay. So the point is what now? We can't do it. So then what is the process now? My question is now, okay, this is an error. This is an error. Then tell me what is the process? What is the process then? What is the process? Means what? Process means what I have to do? First of all, I have an employee object now. Okay. How can I read the data from the employee object? If you have an employee object, you want to set the data to the employee object. How do you set the data? Setter methods. Good. How do you read the data? Getter methods. Suppose I have an employee object. Then how can I read the data of the employee object? How can I read the data, or how can I retrieve the data from the object? First I have to call the getter methods. I am telling that what I have already an employee object. Na? What I am telling you question? I have already employee object. I have already employee object. Na? What I want to do now? I want to store this object in table, database. First what I have to do? Get the data from the employee object. How do you get the data? How do you read the data? By calling getter methods. Getter methods only, na? All right. I got the data, na? Once I got the data, then I will start executing the insert query. Able to follow me? Are you getting my point? Tell me what to do. What to do? First get the data by calling which methods? Getter methods. Setter methods are used to set the data. But what I am telling you, I have already an object now. Then what I have to do? Read the data. How can I read? By calling getter methods. First call what? Getter methods. What you will get? Values, employee number, employee name, salary. You have methods now. Get employee number, get employee name, get salary, get department. Like that, you can get the data now. Right. Tell me what to do after that. You got the values now. Then what to do? Then you can execute the query, right? And you can set the values to the query. So what is the process that I want to store an employee object in database table now? Using JDBC API, what to do? Tell me first. First, step one, what to do? Step one, what is the first step? Read the data from employee object by calling which method, sir? Getter methods. First step. First step, that is first step. Correct? First step is correct. Okay, now read the data from employee object by calling which methods, guys? Getter methods. First you have to do that. Okay, tell me what to do after that. After that, what you have to do? After that, what you have to do? You can use the create a prepared statement object. Which statement object? Prepared statement object you can create. Prepared statement object you can create. Then you can set the values to the prepared statement. Then execute that statement on database. This is what you have to use in JDBC, na? Right. What is the first step, guys? Read the data from the employee object by calling the getter methods. Next, what to do? Next, what to do? Create a prepared statement object of JDBC. Okay. Next step is what now? Set the data to the prepared statement and then execute it. And then execute it. Means what is the concept to understand here? Do you have any direct way of sending the Java object to the database in JDBC? Do you have any direct way? No. What you have to do? First read the data from the object by calling the getter methods, then create a prepared statement object, then execute it. By setting the values. Are you getting my point now? If I have a customer object, tell me what's the process. I have a customer object. I want to store the customer data into the table. Which technology that you know? JDBC. Tell me, what will you do? Read the data from the customer object. Sorry. Guys, tell me. Read the data from the customer object. Then how do you read the data from the customer object? By calling getter methods only, na? Tell me first what you are doing, guys. You are reading the data from the customer object by calling which methods? Get customer ID, get customer name, get email ID, get phone number. Like that you are reading the data of the customer, right? Then tell me after that. Create a prepared statement object, then set the data to the prepared statement, then execute it. Are you following now? Right. So tell me now, what is the problem that we are facing in JDBC API? See, what is our next step? We want to understand about Hibernate. If you want to understand Hibernate, first of all, you have to know about what is the problem in JDBC. Because what is the purpose of Hibernate? To perform CRUD operations. What's the purpose of JDBC? To perform CRUD operations on the data using database. Are you getting my point? So Hibernate is also another framework for performing CRUD operations on the data using database. Right? When JDBC already is available, is already know that we have JDBC, then why should I go for Hibernate? That is what we started with the data persistence. Means directly, I don't want to say Hibernate is open source framework. You can freely download. Okay, this is the feature number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, this is not our session. Basics must be very, very strong, na? Right. If you have a strong basics, then you can understand remaining very easily. That's what intention. Right? So currently, which technology that you all guys know? JDBC technology. What is the problem you have identified here? If there is a data in an object, in the real time, the totally data is in the form of objects only, na? In the real time applications, the total data will be in what? Objects only. Objects only. Then how do you store them into database? How can you store them in database? You are getting my point or not? Yes. If it is JDBC API, what you have to do? You have to read the data from the object by calling getter methods. Then you have to create a prepared statement object. Then you have to set the values and then you have to execute it, right? So this is not a good solution. We need direct operation. If I call save employee, that's all. It should save in database. It will reduce my work now. Correct? If somebody is giving me this facility, which facility? For example, if somebody is giving me this facility, as I'm a Java developer, if somebody is giving facility, save of employee, it should be saved in database. If I say save order, then this must be stored in order table. If I say save customer, it must be stored in customer table. I need this facility. But who is not providing me this facility? JDBC. Which means what? JDBC is the best solution for raw data. What data? Raw data means when the data is in some variables. But is not the best solution for Java objects. But whereas when come to real-time applications, where is our data? Our data is in Java objects only, na? Yes. So that is the reason why in the real-time applications, we don't use directly JDBC API. Because in the real time, all our data is in the form of what? Objects. You got my point, right? Yeah, online people, tell me your reply. Only 2 letters, type C or N. C for clear, N for no. Good, nice, cool, very good. Okay, right. Observe here. I have another question. I have another question to you. Here I'm talking about what? I have an employee object. I want to store the employee object in database using JDBC API. Suppose my next requirement, in the table, there is an employee record. I want to get that employee record into employee object. I'm talking about reverse now. I want to store or I want to retrieve now. Retrieve. Where is the employee record? In the table, there is a record. But I want to retrieve that record into employee object. Employee object. Using which API? JDBC API. Can you tell me what is the process? Online guys, please tell me what is your process. Can you tell me what is your process? Have you got my question first of all, online guys? I have one record in the table, but I want to retrieve it into employee object. Then what is the process? Using JDBC. What is the process? Make it fast now. I'll conclude the session in just 2-3 minutes. Yeah. Yes. What to do? First of all, you select the data from table. You are getting one record now. Into which object? Result set object. In JDBC API, one object called what? Result set. It will store the result table, right? You'll get the record into result set object. From the result set object, you have to read the record. rs dot get int, get string methods are there, na? Right. You are calling the methods. You are getting the values, na? Those values now you have to set to the employee object. You are getting my point? Means what are you getting? Record. Into which object? Result set. What's the next step? Read the data from the result set object and set the data to the employee object. These are all the things you have to do now. Yes. But in real time, all the data is in what? Objects. All the data is employees, customers, orders, addresses, policies, deliveries, like this only, na? Means everything in the form of what? Objects. If I use JDBC technology, there is a lot of burden on me. Because in my code, I have to write all these logics now. But what is the solution needed for me as a Java developer? What is the solution needed for me? The solution what I want is, I want somebody who can do all these things on behalf of me. Am I right or not? I need the support of some guy who can do this all automatically. That guy is Hibernate. That person is Hibernate, which is called an ORM tool. What tool? ORM tool stands for Object Relational Mapping Tool. Are you getting my point? Right. Okay. I'm not going into further more details of it because I'll introduce about ORM tools and Hibernate. Okay. Object model, relational model, impedance mismatches, all I will explain. Everything I'll explain. You should be ready to take all these things. Okay. Right. So basically, I want to conclude the session for today, guys. Online guys, I'm going to conclude the session. If you have any queries, you can ask me now in chat box. I'll reply. If you have any queries, tomorrow I will introduce about completely ORM, object relational mapping, and Hibernate as well. You got the problem today. We'll find solution tomorrow. Thank you.